The Marvel Universe is jam-packed with gods, super soldiers, and web-slinging icons. We all know them. But for every Captain America, there's a character so strange, so out there, you have to wonder how they ever got approved. Today, we're digging into the Marvel archives to rank the 10 weirdest Marvel characters of all time. We'll cover their bizarre origins, their even more bizarre powers, and what makes them the true oddballs of their universe. So, get ready to rethink what a superhero can be, as we count down to the absolute weirdest character Marvel ever created. Let's get into it. Number 10, Frogman. Kicking off our list at number 10 is the one and only fabulous Frogman. Now, in a universe with cosmic gods and gamma monsters, what's so weird about a guy in a frog suit? Well, it's not his powers, because he has none. It's his sheer, unfiltered, and often disastrous incompetence. Frogman is Eugene Patilio, the son of a D-list villain named Leap Frog. His dad was a failed inventor who used his tech-a-frog suit with electrical coils in the boots for high jumping to turn to crime. After getting beaten by heroes like Daredevil one too many times, Vincent hung up the suit. But his son, Eugene, wanted to redeem the family name. The only problem? Eugene is spectacularly bad at it. He has 0 superhuman abilities. The suit lets him leap 6 stories high and gives him some padding, but Eugene has no idea how to control it. First appearing in 1982, Frogman quickly became more of an annoyance to heroes like Spider-Man than an actual ally. He once took down Speed Demon just by accidentally falling on him. His career is proof that if you just keep failing upwards, you might eventually get the job done. While he's mostly seen as a joke, his heart is in the right place. And hilarious attempts to be a hero in a world that is way out of his league. It's this incredible level of heroic ineptitude that lands Frogman on our list. Number 9, the Orb. At number 9, we have a character who is quite literally a sight for sore eyes. Meet the Orb, a woman whose entire head is a single, giant, unblinking eyeball. There have been a couple of orbs, but we're talking about the second and arguably weirder version. Born with this bizarre condition, she was abandoned as a child and raised in a freak show. You'd think having a massive eyeball for a head would have some serious downsides, and you'd be right. But it also gives her some unique, if vague, abilities. The Orb claims she can see things other people can't, letting her figure out secrets or know when someone is thinking about her. First appearing in Ghost Rider, this Orb is a mercenary who carries a repulsor ray gun, though her aim isn't great. Her whole existence is just visually jarring. How does she eat? How does she talk? Apparently, she speaks by flexing certain muscles in her eye head. Her weirdness is so simple a person with an eyeball for a head that it is almost elegant in its absurdity. In one of her most notable storylines, the Orb steals one of the Watcher's eyes. This act unleashes a wave of secrets across the Marvel Universe, proving that even a character this strange can have a huge impact. Her obsession with eyeballs is central to her insanity. She's even said to enjoy rolling around in them. It's this commitment to a single, bizarre theme, plus all the biological questions she raises, that earns the Orb her spot at number 9. Number 8, Ruby Thursday. Climbing up the ladder of anatomical absurdity, our number 8 pick is Ruby Thursday. If an eyeball for a head was strange, how about a woman who decided a head wasn't necessary at all? Her solution? Ditch her face entirely and swap it for a perfect red sphere of malleable plastic. First appearing in 1976, Ruby is a member of the aptly named villain group, the Headmen. Her insane goal is to replace everyone's head with an identical red orb, because she genuinely thinks it's a form of perfection. What makes Ruby so weird us to just the visual of a supermodel, S-body with a computer for a head. It's how useful that bizarre cranium is. That red orb is a weapon. It can morph into any shape she can think of, from tentacles to blades. It can shoot energy blasts, create shields, and even perfectly mimic someone else's face. And here is the kicker. She can detach her head and control it and her body at the same time. If the head is destroyed, she just regenerates it. In one of her weirdest moments, she ran for president, using her head-shaping powers to look like a normal woman in a bizarre bid for world domination. Ruby Thursday is a unique mix of body horror and sci-fi. She looked at the human form and decided it needed a radical, spherical upgrade. She's not just a villain with a gimmick. Her gimmick is a deeply strange philosophical statement. It has this dedication to her own peculiar vision that makes her one of Marvel's all-time weirdest. Number 7. MODOK. Crashing into our number 7 spot is a character who is less of a man and more of a giant. Floating, murderous head. Of course, we're talking about MODOK, the mental organism designed only for killing. Before his grotesque transformation, he was George Tarleton, a regular technician for the villainous organization AIM. They decided they needed a superintelligent being to unlock the secrets of the cosmos and subjected the unlucky Tarleton to a horrific experiment. It worked in a twisted way. It gave him superhuman intelligence, but at a terrible price. His brain grew so huge that his body could no longer support it, leaving him as a monstrously oversized head with tiny limbs, completely dependent on a hovering doomsday chair. Debuting in 1967, the newly named MODOK immediately used his new brain and psionic powers to kill his creators and take over AIM. His abilities are as bizarre as he looks. His computer-like brain can calculate probabilities with stunning accuracy. He can project mind beams from his headband, create telepathic force fields, and mentally control people. Plus, his doomsday chair is loaded with weapons. MODOK's weirdness is so central to his character that it's become iconic. He is intellect without humanity, a being of pure, arrogant thought trapped in a body that's both a weapon and a prison. And despite his immense power, he's often portrayed as petty and prone to temper tantrums, basically a giant, angry baby in a floating death chair. It's this perfect storm of grotesque design, immense power, and a comically flawed personality that makes MODOK an enduring and beloved weirdo. Number 6. Hellcow. Alright, for number 6, we're heading to the pasture for one of the most utterly ridiculous characters ever. Meet Bessie, better known by her proper title, Hellcow. Yes, she's a vampire cow. Her story starts, like many strange tales, with Dracula. Around 1675 in Switzerland, the vampire lord was having a bad night and couldn't find a human victim. Desperate, he settled for the next best thing, a cow named Bessie. He drank her blood, and her owner buried her. But 3 days later, Bessie rose from her grave, not as dinner, but as a creature of the night, with a thirst for blood and a burning desire for revenge on Dracula. First appearing in 1975, Hellcow has all the classic vampire powers. She's immortal, can turn into mist, and can even shapeshift into a half-cow, half-bat form. And of course, she has fangs to drain her victims. Her battle cry isn't a roar, but a terrifying moo, a very menacing moo. For over 300 years, Hellcow searched for Dracula, a quest that led her to Cleveland, Ohio. There, she ran into Howard the Duck, who she mistook for Dracula in disguise. What followed was a battle for the ages, a vampire cow versus a cynical talking duck. Howard finally defeated her with a wooden stake through the heart. But this is comics, and you can't keep a good Hellcow down. She reappeared later, even turning Deadpool into a vampire. The sheer, unadulterated absurdity of this concept is what makes Hellcow a legend. The writers took one of horror's most terrifying monsters and fused it with a placid farm animal. The result is a character so weird and nonsensical that you just can't help but love her. We're halfway through, and believe me, it only gets weirder from here. If you're enjoying this look at Marvel's most bizarre creations, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You won't want to miss the truly mind-bending characters in our top 5. Also, drop a comment below and let us know who you think is the weirdest one so far. Kicking off our top 5 is a character whose powers are, to put it lightly, disgusting. Say hello to Maggott, a mutant whose digestive system exists outside of his body as 2 sentient, slug-like creatures. Japheth, later known as Maggott, was a sickly boy from South Africa. His mysterious illness was actually his mutant power developing. It finally manifested when 2 giant slugs, which he named Eenie and Meenie, chewed their way out of his abdomen. These slugs are his entire digestive system. They leave his body, eat any solid matter in their path, and then return to his torso to feed him the nourishment. As a side effect, his skin turns blue and he gains immense strength. Introduced in Uncanny X-Men number 345, Maggott was a controversial character from the jump. His power is pure body horror. The image of 2 giant slugs slithering out of a person's stomach is enough to make anyone queasy. What makes Maggott truly weird, though, is his personality. Despite having one of the most grotesque powers imaginable, he's surprisingly upbeat. He treats Eenie and Meenie not as monsters, but as his beloved pets. He was even briefly a member of the X-Men, brought in by Magneto himself. As you can imagine, his time on the team was short. A hero whose power involves unleashing matter-eating slugs isn't exactly a great look for the team. Maggott pushes the boundaries of what a superhero's power can be. It's not just weird, it's deeply unsettling. He's a walking paradox, a cheerful hero with a horrifying secret in his gut. It has this blend of grotesque biology and a sweet demeanor that burrows Maggott a spot at number 5. At number 4, we have a character who makes the phrase, "You are what you eat," a horrifying reality. This is Terror, an immortal mercenary whose body is constantly decaying, forcing him to replace his rotting limbs with parts from other people. Originally a knight from centuries ago, the man who would become Terror was cursed after killing a demon. The curse turned him into a monster with decaying flesh, but also gave him a gruesome form of immortality. To survive, he has to constantly swap out his body parts. He does this by secreting a special acid that works as both a solvent to take a limb from a donor and an adhesive to attach it to himself. But that's not even the weirdest part. When Terror takes a body part, he doesn't just get the flesh and bone. He also absorbs the memories, skills, and even superpowers associated with it. If he takes the eye of a master sniper, he gains their perfect aim. If he takes the arm of a concert pianist, he can play like a virtuoso. This makes him one of the most versatile mercenaries in the Marvel Universe, running a business called Terror Inc. for clients who need his very particular skills. First appearing in Marvel's Epic line, Terror is a character born from the darkest corners of horror comics. His entire existence is a grotesque puzzle, a walking collage of other people. The only part of him he never replaces is his left arm, which belonged to the woman he once loved and is preserved in special armor, a morbid and strangely romantic keepsake. Terror Inc.'s weirdness isn't just visual. It's philosophical, raising questions about identity and memory, all while he runs a business built on dismemberment. Entering our top 3 is a character that proves the Morlocks were a breeding ground for some of the most unsettling mutations in Marvel history. Prepare for Bliss, a mutant whose weirdness is all in her tongue. because her tongue has another head on the end of it. That's right. Bliss, a member of the sewer-dwelling mutant outcasts, has a prehensile tongue she can stretch to incredible lengths. But the truly bizarre feature is the fully formed secondary head at the tip, complete with its own eyes, nose, and mouth, full of venomous fangs. When she attacks, her jaw unhinges, allowing this nightmarish tongue head to strike her victims with a potent poison that can knock out even Colossus. First appearing in Uncanny X-Men number 262, Bliss is a prime example of unfiltered body horror. The Morlocks were created to show mutants whose powers made it impossible to live in normal society. And Bliss takes that concept to its grotesque extreme. There is no evolutionary reason for a person to have a second head on their tongue. It is weird just for the sake of being weird, a design meant to shock and disturb the reader. Her appearance was once made even stranger when the Morlock leader Musk, who had flesh-sculpting powers, forced her to look like Jean Grey to trick the X-Men. Even among the Morlocks, a group that included mutants with back wings and extra limbs, Bliss stood out. Her power isn't just a weird ability. It's a physical nightmare. The sheer biological absurdity of a sentient head on a prehensile tongue is so profoundly strange that she easily secures her spot as the third weirdest Marvel character ever. Just missing the top spot is a character who literally defies the laws of physics, reality, and good taste. At number 2, it's Slapstick, a living, breathing cartoon character. Steve Harmon was a high school jokester who, during a prank, dressed as a clown and ended up chasing other, more sinister clowns through a funhouse mirror. This mirror was a portal that stretched his molecules across thousands of dimensions, transforming him into a being made of electroplasm. The result? He became a real-life cartoon, completely subject to the laws of cartoon physics. Debuting in his own comic in 1992, Slapstick is basically indestructible. You can flatten him with a giant mallet, blow him up, or drop an anvil on his head, and he'll just peel himself off the pavement. He has superhuman agility and can pull oversized mallets and other props from a personal hammerspace. One of his gloves lets him switch between his human and slapstick forms. What makes Slapstick so weird is that he breaks the established rules of his own universe. In a world governed by science and magic, Slapstick operates on pure, anarchic cartoon logic. He's been known to break the fourth wall, fully aware he's a comic book character. While Deadpool talks to the audience, Slapstick's very existence warps reality to match his Looney Tunes nature. He is a living paradox, a splash of surreal chaos in the Marvel Universe. His powers aren't just strange. They are a rejection of normalcy itself, making him the second weirdest Marvel character of all time. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The number one weirdest Marvel character of all time is a villain so absurd, so nonsensical, that he is the absolute pinnacle of comic book strangeness. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Bong. Lester Verd was a bullied kid who grew up to be a disgruntled journalist. His life took a sharp turn into absurdity after a prop guillotine at a concert accidentally severed his hand. For reasons that have never been explained, this led him to become a supervillain with a genius-level intellect in genetics and a large, golden bell for a head. His main weapon? He strikes his bell helmet with a metal ball he wears on his severed hand, creating sonic vibrations that can cause concussive blasts, create force fields, or even teleport his entire castle. First appearing in Howard the Duck, number 15 in 1977, Dr. Bong is the archenemy of Howard the Duck, which should tell you everything you need to know. His main motivation was to win the affection of Beverly Switzler, Howard's companion. His plan involved kidnapping them, imprisoning them in his castle, creating bizarre animal-human hybrid servants, and trying to forcibly marry Beverly. He even used his science to temporarily turn Howard the Duck into a human. Everything about Dr. Bong is weird. His name is a juvenile pun. His appearance is ludicrous. His powers are based on ringing his own head like a dinner bell. He's a master geneticist, a former psychiatrist to Deadpool, and a villain whose origin is tied to a prop accident and an obsession with a talking duck's girlfriend. He feels less like a character and more like a fever dream someone had after reading too many comics. For embodying the absolute height of comic book absurdity, Dr. Bong is, without a doubt, the weirdest Marvel character of all time. And that's our list, the weirdest, most bizarre, and downright baffling characters to ever appear in Marvel Comics. From hilariously incompetent characters to the pure absurdity of Dr. Bong, these characters prove that for every icon, there's an oddball pushing the limits of creativity. They might not be A-listers, but they read a testament to the limitless and sometimes baffling imagination that has defined Marvel for decades. Who do you think is the weirdest character in Marvel? Did your favorite oddball make the list? Let us know your picks in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into weirdness, don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations into the Marvel Universe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.